Tales from Aardman, Episode 1. Wallace's Rabbity Makeover. Based on the scene from the Curse of the Were-Rabbit film by Nick Park and Steve Box. Written, illustrated and told by Gromit and Thomas Fan 01. It was a glorious sunset as Wallace and Gromit were driving home. For anyone else, it would be a marvellous sight, but for Gromit, it was anything but marvellous. After building Hutch's cage, later that day, Gromit had made a terrible discovery. He had found out that Wallace was the were-rabbit after discovering his room was full of half-eaten vegetables, and it was all caused by the Mind-O-Matic accident. Gromit knew that when the moon rises in the sky, his master would soon turn into the furry beast. He was driving the anti-pesto van as fast as he could through the woods. Wallace didn't even notice Gromit's worrying look. He was more annoyed that Gromit had ruined his tank top after spending some time with Lady Tottington while she was showing him her prized vegetables. "Honestly, lad, I don't know what's got into you lately," said a grumpy Wallace. Gromit took no notice and made the anti-pesto van go faster as they sped into the woods. Then Gromit had to brake suddenly. There, in front of them, a tree had fallen right in their path. Wallace and Gromit were surprised. "Don't worry, I'll see to this. You stay here where you belong, in the dog house," said Wallace as he slammed the door behind him. He tried to lift the tree, but it was too heavy. Then Gromit noticed that the tree had been chopped on purpose. Suddenly, an axe embedded itself into the tree, just missing Wallace. Out of the shadows stood Victor Quartermain. "I know your little secret, Pesto. I know exactly what's going on," said Victor angrily. He had seen him in Lady Tottington's conservatory. "I have spent a long time reeling in that fluffy-headed bunny lover, and I'm not about to let some puddle-headed peasant poach her from me. Complendy!" "Oh, righto. I'll be off then. Ta-ta," said Wallace as he tried to get away. But his braces were pinned to the axe. He couldn't go anywhere. He was trapped. Victor smiled evilly. "You're not going anywhere. Not until I've taught you a jolly good lesson." Victor soon put up his fists and challenged Wallace for a fight. "Put them up, you little pipsqueak." Nervously, Wallace lifted his fists. Then he started shaking. Gromit looked at Wallace and then looked at the sky. The moon had come out. Gromit started locking the doors. He knew what was about to happen. Victor threw his first punch, but Wallace caught it and threw Victor onto the bonnet of the anti-pesto van. Gromit and Victor watched in horror as two buck teeth popped out of Wallace's mouth. "What the dickens?" gasped Victor. Wallace watched in horror as his hands turned into two furry paws. All Victor and Gromit could do was watch as Wallace grew bigger and bigger. In a matter of seconds, Wallace had turned into the furry were-rabbit. The beast let out an almighty roar. Victor screamed. Then the were-rabbit lifted the tree and let out the loudest howl. It echoed through the forest. He soon hopped away to search for some prized vegetables. Gromit pulled himself together and raced after his master. Will Gromit fix Wallace's curse? Will Victor hunt down the were-rabbit? And will the vegetable competition go ahead? Find out in Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, out on DVD and digital download. The end.